Mm.
Relationship intelligence is more, it's almost like emotional intelligence. It gives you the ability to be able to grasp what's going on in your relationship and be able to take it from ordinary to extraordinary.
Welcome to the Intentional Queen podcast, Journey to Restoration with Janine. Hey, boo, hey. I'm your host. I'm Janine R. Huff. As a resilient strategist, an author, a mom, a coach, a transformational speaker, and award-winning nurse leader who has personally beat burnout twice and came back, I created this space just for you. The ambitious moms, the nurses, the nurse leaders, and high-achieving women in high-stress roles. Why? Because if you're ready to break free from burnout, reclaim your harmony in life, love, and leadership, and not to mention motherhood, you are in the right place. I want you to have resilience, and I want you to choose yourself more. My book called I Choose Me, The Intentional Guide to Never Losing Yourself Again, was the breakthrough point, and now you're here. In each episode, we explore mindset shifts, empowering truths, and real stories grounded in my signature Bloom framework, right? Because you got to grow to keep going, okay? It's all designed to help you rise without losing yourself. Thank you for pressing play, and let's get into today's conversation. I am Coach Janine. I'm a mindset coach and a self-love expert, and I help ambitious moms to alleviate overwhelm and self-neglect so that they can experience more inner peace, more wholeness, more confidence, y'all, so they never lose themselves again. And as you're coming in, this is all based off of the book launch of my book, I Choose Me, which is also called The Guide to Never Lose Yourself Again. So this series was created, I started at the beginning of January, and this round 4. And we've been coming in around lunchtime for the last couple of weeks. And we've had some dope coaches talk about self-care. We've had Adia come and talk about joy. We had Brittany come and talk about mother-daughter bonding. So today I got somebody with me. My girl, Jazz, is coming through, and she gonna be talking about relationship intelligence. So if y'all didn't know, we are also on the book Road to 100. And I've been telling people, I put out the pre-order, and I had 20 orders when I woke up. And now we at 50% of the goal. So you guys have been rocking with me. Y'all have been supporting me for this movement. And I want to say a thank you, especially for the people who want to watch this on the replay, because I know people at work. So that's it for all my baseline stuff. Let's jump into this thing. So tell the people who you are. Tell the people who you are.
So, hey, everybody, I'm Jasmine Cruz. I'm a relationship coach. I teach people how to make their relationships their biggest flex by teaching them the love tank method and getting them to the place of relationship intelligence, which we will talk about a little bit
I
later.
love that. I love that. And so that's when we need to the next stage. What is relationship intelligence?
So that is a great question. And a lot of people they've been in my DMs asking me more and more about relationship intelligence. And where I first heard relationship intelligence was actually at church.
Oh, okay.
And the pastor was really kind of going into what that means for you and your household as a whole. So most of the time when people come to me, they have already been in a funk in their relationship and they are trying to figure out how to navigate that. And in my theory, if you were relationally intelligent, then you can negate an issue or learn how to navigate that issue. But relationship intelligence is more, it's almost like emotional intelligence. It gives you the ability to be able to grasp what's going on in your relationship and be able to take it from ordinary to extraordinary. But that means something different for each individual relationship. I want to emphasize that. It could be different between you and your mother. It could be different between you and your children. It could be different between you and your spouse. All in all, you all have to be relationally intelligent in order to be able to navigate your relationships.
That was a whole beat. I call all that. See, I've heard a lot about emotional intelligence, so I was kind of thinking it may be kind of in the same vein. And I like how you said each relationship has its own way that you tend to it or water it so it can flourish. Okay, I love all this. I love all this. So you know how I do. What's your word of the year?
My word of the year is actually family.
Ooh.
Year's family. I went to church on New Year's and all I wanted to do was not fly. And PSA, for those who don't know, I am a flight attendant by trade, but all I wanted to do was not fly on New Year's Eve. And I had the opportunity to go to church And my year is family because I have focused so much on the intimate relationships. I focused on married couples. And now I want to make sure that I spew the same energy into family while I also work on my own family dynamic relationships.
Mm. I love all that. So, I've been telling people my word of the year is expansion, but I give people a little backstory because you know my vibe when my
Yeah.
voice changes, how I'm moving. But my word of the year is expansion, and it's very important to me to expand my territory with other people, with community, with my value, with pretty much anything is that's in alignment with expansion is what I'm doing right now. And I was talking to Brittany when she was on the live, and I said, it's like a rubber band being stretched, and it's no purpose. Like the real purpose of a rubber band when it's in action is for it to be stretched. And I feel like I've been stretched out of comfort zones. This is not that energy. Remember, I had my whole revelation at the retreat. And so I really think that the I choose me thing is a good movement of understanding what's going on with people. Because what I recognized from the last two master classes I did the last couple of days, there is a lot of people suffering in
Yeah.
silence. And I didn't really recognize this until they started saying it felt like a good personal space to let down. And so the I choose me movement was birthed from me saying I'm going to spread my voice and help those people because I too suffered in silence. And so building community and expanding my voice and expanding other people's lives and living in my purpose has been the thing. And I'm so glad I connected with you because, girl, when we was at the retreat, it was like, boom, there it is. So, why don't you tell me what I choose me means to you?
Well, that is, first of all, it's an amazing title.
Thank you.
And it kind of correlates with relationship intelligence. And let me explain. When our lives have been, when we grow up, we're kind of shaped and molded by our environments. We're shaped and molded by religion. We're shaped and molded by culture. We're going to school. We're doing all the things. We're doing the motions of things. And that's predominantly what our life is like.
Right.
We are in the motion of things, right? Now, most people do not choose themselves in that state of their life. Okay. They're not choosing, we're not taught to choose ourselves young. We're not taught to choose ourselves. We're taught to go to school, go to college. Matter of fact, get married at 20 because you should be choosing them versus choosing yourself.
Oh, that's so good.
So we're not taught to choose ourselves at a very young age. And that is such a disservice to society as a whole. So when you choose yourself, we're choosing ourselves after a breakup. We're choosing ourselves after childhood trauma. We're choosing ourselves after we get saved and baptized in church, maybe. Yes, I'm just keeping it real. We're choosing ourselves late in life. And so my question is, why are we choosing ourselves so late in life? Why are we not to choose ourselves young? And why are we not brought up to choose ourselves when we are growing up and navigating school? Why can't we just remove all social constructs on what society wants for us and start to choose us? So when you start to choose you start to know who you are. You start to break down those barriers, remove those boundaries, and unleash yourself. It's like a free, right? It's such a liberating feeling when you start to choose you. But what I will say is nobody, no individual person, no relationship is the reason why you didn't choose yourself. You didn't choose yourself because you didn't choose yourself. So now it's time to choose you. Whatever stage of life you're in, it is it is mandatory to choose yourself because you're right. Relationships are under attack. We're in war. You you hit it right on the nose. People are suffering in
Mhm.
silence because they're not healed. And
Mhm.
then all of a sudden you're starting to understand, well, I'm going to choose me. Why is it we only choose ourselves when we're hurt? And then you
Mhm.
can even get through that hurt because it's more painful to go through the pain so that you can get the result that you need.
I'm trying to tell you, it's like a scab, right? But you got to let it heal. And I think when you said it's like an unleashing, my logo is a butterfly.
Yep.
And, I'm always talking about the caterpillar, the cocoon, and the butterfly. But to come out of the cocoon, you have to spread your wings. That's another thing about expansion and why I feel like it was like a revelation for me. But it's like you're job, depending on what you do, like for me as a nurse in my day to day, I am a people pleaser because I'm a service provider. When you are a service provider in your day to day, it's very easy to just give people what they need and kind of forget about yourself. And I can also say, just growing up, it could be looked at as selfish if you choose yourself. And so it's breaking down of how we can be selfless at the same time of choosing ourselves without making it look like you're being selfish. Because when you look selfish, then people try to paint a negative narrative on it. So then you don't do that. But then when you break down, you go through the breakup, you go through all these things, then you're like, well, what they told me was wrong. So I think part of the reason why I feel like people backslide into choosing themselves is when they have realized that the constructs they've learned are no longer serving them. And I'm big on purge what no longer serves you, but we do have to take accountability. And I think that's what you was hinting on, right? When you said it's on you and the relationship. So it's the accountability piece. And a lot of people don't want to be held to accountability. And it's tough being held accountable. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't like that hard work. The cocoon work, like I said, is the hardest to do because you have to look within and you
Absolutely.
can't see on the outside. And so when you really learn who you are, you don't get caught up by them titles. You learn really like who you are and what you like. It is so key because now you can show up in those relationships, mother, daughter, child to mother, and also in your loving relationship or partner. Like you can show up better. And that's why I felt like when you were talking, that's why I chose you for this topic. But I wanted you to talk about relationship intelligence so people could really get a feel of how important it is weave through all our relationships, not just loving relationships. So that's so good.
Absolutely.
Oh, all right. So now the next question, I always like to say, have you ever felt like you was lost
Girl,
in life?
yes. For those who don't know, I've been lost, I've been hurt, I've been dragged, I've been talked about. I've had my own relationship issues. I've had a very interesting childhood. Yes, I have had to. Oh, one thing about me that is different from most people, and I think this is what makes me very unique and can come off very harsh to other people that are not like me.
Uh,
I am not one that is living in their trauma. Have I been through traumatic things? Absolutely. Will I sit here and name them all? No, because there's no relevance to those things. If I have to relate to somebody, yes, I've had my share of
Ups and
most
downs.
of the same things that most women go through. The only difference between them and I is that I don't live based on my trauma. A lot of times you allow trauma to define you. I define the trauma. I do not allow it to shape or measure who I am. Now, I will say, I am very grateful for the trauma. I am
Come on now.
so grateful for some of the things, most of the things that I've gone through. I was out of the house very young. And in that moment of time, I was just like, what the heck am I going to do? I would not be as independent. Well, mind you, my mom was very independent. So I learned a lot of my independence from her, from seeing her growing up, watching what a woman looks like being independent. So when I had to actually experience that and live in that, it really shaped me. Some of my church trauma, some of my friend trauma, some of my relational trauma. I am grateful. Thank you. Remember that song, Thank You
Up,
Next? No, seriously. Like
up.
when you choose you, that is kind of the energy that you have to maintain in the fact that you've got to thank it, because most of the time God has to show us who we are in certain situations. And the reason why women can't take accountability is because they're not willing to see themselves. I had to be faced with myself.
That mirror.
I had to see, one thing about me, I had a mouth. I mean, I still kind of do, but I had a mouth on me. So that was a lot of my issues growing up, and then it kind of translated. So I share that story because your traumas that you hold can very much translate in every relationship, as a mother, as a sister, as a husband, as a wife, as a teacher, as a nurse. However you treat, all of our relationships lack relationship intelligence, all of them, if you do not get it together.
Together. Yeah, that's right.
Now, I mean, have I gone through some stuff? Yes. Do all I do now is make sure that I instill a very huge value in somebody to understand, did you go through that? Yes. Does it shape you? No. Bank it and move on because it's over with. It's
Mhm.
done with. Why are we still staying there? And most women, they want to stay there and talk about, what the other people have done. I could do that too, but what does that do? What does
Sure.
that do for me? What does that do for me? Right?
Nothing. Right. And it won't help you move on to the next level. I call that the victim mentality that we can live in when we point fingers. And that's the bruised caterpillar. But when you take the accountability that's going within, that's the mirror. And a lot of people don't want to look in the mirror. And it's a hard place to look when you have to look at your own flaws and say, what role? Because you participated in something. You know what I mean? And so the accountability is what can you do different?
Yep.
And how can we move past that? And I agree with you. It's sometimes hard to go back and talk about trauma because you're trying to move on to the next level. But like you said, to invite that space when you're in spaces with people who need to know where your beginnings were to for them to have a relationship with you or an acknowledgement that I see you. Because a lot of times people don't feel seen or they don't feel heard and they want to know that somebody understands. That's the whole thing of suffering in silence. You feel like you're the only one because you're suffering in silence. So you're not talking about it. So you don't even know that there are other people. And so it's really important for people to know in any type relationship that you're in, it's people that's been there, done that. And so get with those coaches, get with those people, get in therapy. I think that was huge. That was a groundbreaker for me to like unpack
Yeah.
because I've been taught strong woman mentality of suck that thing up, keep going. And so like I would have boxes of things that I've dealt with. And then I'd be like, I deal with it another day and compartmentalize it to a point that at some point when I got to this of saying I choose me, it all fell down on me. I had to sit there and sift through all this stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I didn't deal with that. And I didn't deal with that. And so my backpack, I call that the door to explore, the backpack mentality, right? I had everything on my backpack and it was weighing me the hell down. And so now I'm at a point here, and I say this literally to my son, you can carry your own backpack. What I'm teaching people is you have to allow people to carry their own weight.
You have to. You
Somebody
have to.
just said very true. Some people don't know how to move forward. I tell people seek a paid friend for help. That's right. Push plastic collection, pay help. Because your friends is about tired of it, and so is your family.
Yeah.
They're like, don't keep
And
them.
they're
Don't.
not the ones to help you. They can't help you. They are not the expert, and you're getting upset at them, and they can't help you.
Yes, yes. Yes. And they normally want what's best for you and they don't like to see you in that space. So at some point they may push you past healing, like pushing you faster than you want to go. And I think that's gonna save somebody too. I had Tanya Taylor on my podcast a while back and it was called Purpose in Pain. She's a author, but she also talked about her very traumatic story. But when she was going through the mud, because that's what I call it, when she was going through the mud, people was trying to push her through her healing faster. And so the lesson she learned in that is take your time, but don't take all the time.
Okay.
So mean go at your pace, but don't stay there. And so some people, when you're around your family, they be like, it's enough now. It's enough now. But it's enough to them because they're tired of hearing about it. But you may not be ready. So you beat yourself up. Then you stop talking to them. Then you're now suffering in silence because now who are you talking to? Get the paid help.
Yeah.
Get the paid up, and invest in yourself. Sometimes I think it's more than just that, getting in environments. I mean, we met in a nurturing environment where we all come from different backgrounds and coaching experience. But just even to talk to each other on a womanly level on some of our struggles and even some of our desires, it helps catapult us into our greatness. And so sometimes when you said thank you for the things that happened to me. I'm grateful of those because that's what birthed my purpose. That's what made me have a voice, right? And so I was just, which I'm grateful. I was just speaking in She Wins Society, and they asked me when I applied, "What's your biggest superpower?" And I said, "My voice." And I mean that. Like I genuinely now use my voice, but for so long when I was younger, I was
Yep.
hushed,
Yep.
and so it was all the things I went through that helped me birth my voice. So when you look back at your life, whoever watches this now or on the replay, look at all the trials you're having and kind of get a hold of, what is the purpose in this? And what can you learn from it? Because it's getting ready to take you to your next level.
Yeah.
And so your relationship stuff you've been through helps you be the best person who can speak on this. And so that's why I tell people it's not until you go through something because now you become a pro. And sometimes we're living testimonies. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, your tests become testimony. That's a whole word. And I think people really don't want to go through the test, but it may be a purpose for that. And so just really get a hold of not staying in the mud with all the dirt. And remember, when you do gardening, we put manure on that and we always know what manure is. So that's all the crap. You need the crap to bloom. It is good for you so you can grow. And that's why I keep talking about blooming. You know, that's my framework. But things when a plant is put, when a seed is put down in the ground, it's dark, it's dirty, and you're alone. It's until it breaks, but you grow roots first before you sprout out. And so it's the inner work that happens with the roots because when nobody knows what's happening under the ground, so you got to do that work. So I think that was so good.
You have to. The work is the most important thing. The problem with our world and our culture is that people don't talk about doing the work. They just want to, well, first of all, the reels, the TikToks are really just showing A and Z. They're not showing the D, the H, the M, right? They're not showing all of those things in between. And one thing that you said about the backpack, right? Anytime somebody comes on my flight and they can't lift their bag in the overhead bin, now mind you, if you're disabled, I've got you. But if you are a capable person and you loaded your whole bag, you got your flat iron in there, you got all your things in there, and you can't lift it, I am not able to help you lift it for you. You have to do your own work.
Mm,
You
mm.
have to do your own work. And if not, I'm going to go ahead and check that bag, meaning you're not ready. What is up with these fireworks?
Because
I'm
it's
going to keep my hands down. I'm going to keep my hands down. You're not ready to do the work, and that's okay. A lot of times people are not ready to start getting in and grinding and doing the work. I
Mhm.
think a lot of times people are ashamed and afraid of evolving. And most of the time, our friends and our family want us to be at a certain level. They want us to already be there, but that's not God's timing. And sometimes we're so accustomed to the timing of the world that we forget to go back and pray. We forget to go back and manifest. We forget to go back and sit in silence so that we can have clear direction to where we're supposed to go.
Mhm.
Trust me, I'm from Cali. I'm all about grinding. But what I have to remind myself is when I'm going through doing the work,
Mhm.
I have to be still. I have to take moments to release that pressure and do it on your own time. The last thing I want to say about something you said about not having a voice. I give so much grace to how what I've gone through. And the reason I give so much grace is because the way people are raising kids or how people are raising, they probably didn't know any better. They probably the only resource that we were raised in, where majority of our trauma comes from, is our childhood. They only can do
Keep going. That's the word. That's the
they
word.
only can do what they had access to. They could only give us what they had access to. So we are in pain over things that were out of our control, but also were out of their control. Our parents, they only could give us what they could give us. So if they're telling you, you stay in a child's place, don't use your voice. If they're telling you, go have a seat, this is not the time and place, that came from a generation before that, right? So it's not like they're being malicious. It's not like they're doing it, to not give us a voice. Our perception of that reality
Could be.
is, I don't have a voice. So you stop talking, you stop using your voice in certain, and all they were, they just they just didn't know any better. And I don't always give grace to every situation, but I'm trying to understand the dynamics of where we come from and why we act the way that we act and why we operate the way that we operate. Why we have my core values are be healed, be heard, and be loved. Like, you got to be healed in order to be heard because you wouldn't be able to use your voice appropriately anyway to be loved, to
Yes.
be
Come
quite
on.
frank.
Mhm.
So have to come from a level of understanding and really understand the why behind things and give a little bit of grace so that your healing process can go through. You can't heal over a perception because
Yes.
some things are not reality. Some things are what you made reality for yourself.
Yes.
You gotta be truthful and authentic and honest about what you're healing from so that you can choose you, but you gotta choose you authentically.
That's a word. That's a word. And they coming in the comments. That's a word. That's a word. I think that is that. Listen, that's a mic drop. I ain't even got nothing else because the next thing is what's one thing you would go back and tell your younger self, but you didn't already gave the word. All right, so we're gonna keep this thing pushing like I always do. 3 tips that you would give people on their journey for choosing themselves, but also relationship intelligence. Give me your 3 tips. What's your 3 tips you want to leave them with?
My first tip is to be a forever student, to be a forever student for yourself, to be a forever student. Always be willing to unlearn and relearn. It's okay to evolve. It's okay not to have all the answers. Be a forever student.
Okay.
My second tip is love will save us. Love will save us. That is something that I have always implemented in my business since I started in 2016 with merchandise. But love will save us. And my third tip is there is so much power in prayer, the process, and the progress. There is so much power in the prayer, the progress, and the process.
I'm gonna say it one more time because that's a mic drop.
There
Do it
is
again.
so
Power in
much
the what?
power in the prayer, the progress, in the process.
Mm,
So much.
mm.
Be good.
Triple P. Well, actually, the quadruple P because it was power. So power, prayer, progress,
You know
process.
I passed math, girl. You know last semester I passed math, okay? Okay, I was scared, but I got through it.
I love it. I like the 4 P's. All right. So wow, I'm taking back you given a whole word. So now I like to say, what's 1 or 2 songs? So we got the I Choose Me playlist. People been coming out. What you feel needs to be on the playlist? Give me 1 or 2 songs.
Now, you know my mama didn't let me listen to secular music, so I definitely ain't got no song.
Today, since we be in there getting it
Let me
called,
think
just one.
always the music that trips me up. I've been fine until the music gotta come in.
Right.
Um,
What's your go-to song? What you getting crunk off now? What you doing?
E40. I'm always getting crunk off E40.
Okay. I know
So
you got
anything E40, those are both.
I'm laughing.
Ghost right
They don't
with
really know.
gas break and dip. You know how I get down.
I do.
I can't keep it.
I
I
do.
I
You
told
get so
myself,
good
do
though.
not cut up, Jasmine. Do not cut up on this live.
No, you being your true self, and I love it. That's why I'm letting people know.
And okay, and then my other song would be I don't know his name, but the song is "Rooting for Everybody Black." I love that song.
Rooting for everybody black. Okay. Okay.
Rooting for everybody.
Listen, I need to Google it. Listen, we got you.
I love that
Listen,
song.
I am grateful. We getting ready to wrap this thing up. As you know, Coach Jasmine's doing big things. Tell us where we can find you, what you got going on, and what services you provide now here.
So tonight I have Relationship Mastery Masterclass, free resources where I target three out of the 8 of the Love Tank method to get you to relationship intelligence. You will be able to have a hard conversation tonight with whomever that may be. Um, Live Love Tank is my Instagram. You can DM me. I do private sessions. I do coaching privately, which I find is better for my business. But relationship intelligence will be launching tonight. You have the opportunity to sign up for my cohort, 12 weeks, starting March 6th. I'm very excited about that. I have a few scholarships that I've already given out, 1 scholarship left, but join me tonight. Go ahead and sign up for the Relationship Mastery Masterclass if you think this is something, honey.
Mhm.
Come.
Listen, my friend Ashley J. White in there getting us. Listen, she was like, it's one place called Sue Me. You listen,
Forgive me about the music, y'all. That is my downfall. That's the one thing I don't know is music. I can teach you anything else.
That's your disclaimer. So listen, I love it. And then boom, they put that right there. So it's already there. Love take me. Hey, I see her in there. So she already put your masterclass link right in there. So you are good to go. And I just want to wrap this thing up saying thank you so much for taking the opportunity to come. This was a blessing. We're saying hey to all the people on the replay. Thank you to everybody who checked in. It was a word. So my book comes out in February. I'm so excited. This was all related to I Choose Me. And we doing a takeover. You are the last but not least of January. And people asked me to do it in February. So I might go ahead and put a whole nother set of people together because we are now, empowering people to do the thing. So we're going to cancel this thing out saying peace, and I will see you guys
I'm
later.
so proud
And thank you so
of
much.
you. I'm so proud of you. I am
Thank,
so proud of you.
thank you. I appreciate it, girl. I appreciate you. I'll see you guys on the flip
Thank
side.
you.
I want to thank you, Queen, for investing your time in yourself and in your journey to restoration with me as your host. You know why? Because I hope today's conversation has left you feeling inspired and better equipped for this week ahead with harmony and resilience. Because remember what I tell you, when you are good, they are good. New episodes air every other Thursday. So be sure to follow and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss a moment. And if you're really feeling us, I want you to leave us a review so you can help us with our mission to grow and reach more women globally, because we are doing big things and you are a part of this community and I want us all to grow. The conversation doesn't even have to stop here because you my girl and I want you to hang around. So you can connect with us at our supportive Bloom community and get resources and exclusive updates when you go to our website at www.intentionalqueenjourney.com. Once again, www.intentionalqueenjourney.com, and you will get our community. You will get the positive, free, sexy talk checklist that you need, and you can just join the email list. So do that today. And you can also find us on our social media pages at Instagram at Intentional Queen Journey, or definitely go over and check out our YouTube channel at Janine R. Huff TV, where there's over 500 videos of binge-worthy content just for you. And finally, if you found this value in this podcast, please share it with a queen in your life and consider, like I said, leaving a review. Your support helps this message reach more women who are ready to reclaim their power and bloom in confidence, love, leadership. So until next time, keep blooming, level up your intentional queen to a better you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.